Aw, man, hell no! Get out of here, man, please! Today we are talking about an article that I saw on NHLTradeTalk.com that goes over two teams, Pacific Division rivals, the Calgary Flames and the Vancouver Canucks, and it highlights a very interesting idea that I do not think should go down. Let's go out there and talk about this piece published. When was this article made? Yesterday by Jim Parsons? Yeah, that's what it is. Take a look at this. The link will be in the description if you want to go ahead and read this piece yourself. The Flames should consider a risky trade for ANDREI KUZMENKO. The Flames and Canucks would make for interesting trade partners with a deal centered around Kuzmenko. Now, here's the thing about Kuzi, and we have talked about this over the past 2 days. The Vancouver Canucks are not being shy about their deployment, their usage, and their vision for Kuzmenko. They think he's got a lot in him to be a better player than he's been so far, and that's fair. I definitely don't disagree with that. Him being put in the doghouse, being placed on the fourth line, him being called up by Rick Tocchet in the media, but all the while still getting first power play time, it bodes for a very interesting, let's just say, learning lesson opportunity for this player. Because when the Vancouver Canucks brought Kuzmenko in, we all recognized he was amazing, 39 goals, he's probably not going to do that again, but he was a 70-point player, and now he's on pace for a lot fewer points than that. But that doesn't mean the Vancouver Canucks have given up. Jim Rutherford and the comments from him yesterday pretty much went over how the Canucks still want to be there, and they want to support him, and they want to help him grow. He's on contract for the next 2 seasons. But all the updates we had seen from Elliot Friedman and Rick Dalibor as well indicate that even though there are trade conversations, even though there are teams calling and asking about Kuzmenko, that's just basically it. They're calling and asking. It's not really like the Canucks are shopping him. It's not necessarily even that the Canucks are listening. They could just be like, hey, are you selling Kuzmenko? And then Patrick Allvin could be like, no. And then that's it. Like, that technically counts as a conversation. They talked about it, right? So this article on NHLTradeTalk.com goes out there and explores a different idea, one that hasn't really been mentioned anywhere else, and it talks about the Calgary Flames. If the Flames are looking to make a trade that isn't just about prospects and picks, the Vancouver Canucks should probably be their first phone call. It's rumored the Canucks are interested in landing another defenseman, having already plucked Zadorov from Calgary in a previous deal, and it now seems like Vancouver is out of the running on Ethan Bear. They aren't necessarily done shopping, and if someone like Chris Tanev or Noah Hanifin are of interest, ANDREI KUZMENKO is an interesting target in return. This would be the kind of deal where the Vancouver Canucks get a top 4 D-man and the Flames get a highly touted winger with a high ceiling and potentially bright future. It's a risk on both sides, still it's the kind of deal that could pay off handsomely. So today we're talking about the idea of ANDREI KUZMENKO getting traded for one Chris Tanev. And yeah, you could say, wait a minute, but they're talking about Hanifin too. Why not just make this video about both of them? Why only focus on Tanev? Well, because Tanev is the flashier name in this conversation, and because the Vancouver Canucks have been needing right defense, he fits the need more than Noah Hanifin would. And besides, everybody's been sort of highlighting the idea of Tanev as a potential option for the past few weeks. The article goes over into a deep dive as to what could go on, how could this work, whether or not the Flames would be interested in making some sort of a trade like this because, they traded away Tyler Toffoli for Sharon Govich, and whether or not the Flames would be interested in recuperating some more offense, etc., etc. But the thing to me is, if the Calgary Flames are so dire and dead set to trade away their defensemen because they want to retain value in this organization beyond 23-24, ANDREI KUZMENKO, in my opinion, may not necessarily be the best piece to do that, because this guy is also expiring at the end of 2025, so he's got just an extra year. Do you really want to extend your anxiety and say, all right, well, we traded away Tanev, we did this, we did whatever, now we gotta do Kuzmenko. We gotta re-sign the guy next year, go through this entire song and dance over again, or we'll make a trade with him. And if you're able to get everything done, I mean, if you're able to sign Kuzi to a longer-term deal that's actually worth some money, firstly, you need to be really sure that you're getting good value there and that he's actually going to be able to produce. But secondly, you are kind of adding on to that list of names that has already secured some sort of a future here in Calgary. The only two that really stand out, in my opinion, are Nazem Kadri and Jonathan Huberdeau. Everybody else, expendable, movable, prospects, younger guys, not really all too guaranteed, etc., etc. So getting the contracts done is one thing, but you also have to ask yourself if ANDREI KUZMENKO really is that guy that you would feel comfortable doing that with. And from the perspective of somebody who's already seen him here in Vancouver, I mean, it's tough to really say at this point. ANDREI KUZMENKO is still such a mixed bag of expectations and on-ice play and whether or not he'd actually be good enough. I will say, though, if you're trading away the version of ANDREI KUZMENKO that's existing today, that hasn't really been scoring his chances, that's lacking confidence, that's missing the net, that's making too many passes when he shouldn't be, then okay, yeah, trade that guy away. Get yourselves a Chris Tanev coming back, and try to see if you can work something out on right defense, because the cap hits work out. I mean, Kuzi's making 5.5, Tanev's making 4.5, so that works, but do you really want to be giving up on ANDREI KUZMENKO that quickly? Is this the move that you gotta do in order to recuperate the loss from not being able to re-sign Ethan Bear? I feel like this move would be seen more as a panic move than anything from the Vancouver perspective. It would be kind of impulsive and sort of feeding into what the Flames would want, because if KUZMENKO is able to recuperate and get himself back up to speed quickly, then all of a sudden you're trading away a 25-goal, 60-point guy for one aging Chris Tanev who is on an expiring deal? For a rental? Then you'd have to go through the entire process of re-signing him as well, which is what you're going to have to do with Nikita Zadorov too. It's going to be a lot, and while I don't disagree with the notion that the Vancouver Canucks should probably be looking out for defense, I don't think ANDREI KUZMENKO would be the most appropriate trade chip to dangle out there to get that done. Just earlier in this same calendar year, the guy was tearing it up with Elias Pettersson, and they looked really good, and Kuzi was this dynamic, bright, skilled sniper playmaker that could do it all. Now it's not like he isn't that anymore, he's just really lacking confidence, so it's kind of just a matter of time to wait and see whether or not he's actually got it in him to become that same player, and whether or not the waiting time is worth it to trade away and get a Chris Tanev in exchange. Let's go back over onto the article and read what this has to say before ending off this video. If Calgary isn't prepared to rebuild, they could do much worse than ANDREI KUZMENKO. In fact, it's an easier pill to swallow if one of Tanev or Hanifin are moved for a legitimate scorer, like KUZMENKO, a player who scored 39 goals in his rookie season. The issue here is that neither defenseman is signed beyond this season. The Canucks may be looking to dump KUZMENKO's contract and go in another direction. If so, they could be open to multiple options, but if they aren't just moving cap space, they need some guarantees. Giving up on someone with KUZMENKO's skill set and knowing Hanifin or Tanev could bolt in free agency is a problem. As such, a signing trade would potentially be on the menu. And the Canucks would want more than just a defenseman. KUZMENKO may be struggling, but he's anything but a bust. There's value there, and he should command a decent return. At the very least, a pick or a prospect should be a target from Vancouver. From there, only if the Canucks knew the player they were getting back was open to being more than just a rental should Vancouver even consider this. What a wonky sentence that is. Oh man. That is, unless Vancouver has eyes on another winger and can trade for that player filling two holes by moving one struggling forward. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about this entire idea. The Vancouver Canucks trading away KUZMENKO for Chris Tanev of all people. If you're a Vancouver Canucks fan, what do you think about this? If you're a Flames fan, what do you think about this? I feel like just value to value, even if you think about KUZMENKO and his sort of slump that he's in right now, because he had such a strong rookie season, there's a lot more value here than meets the eye, because for a guy like this, all it takes is one good game. One good game to flip the switch and get things back and running again. You know how the Joker says, all it takes is one bad day? Like, Batman, you are one bad day away from becoming like me? This is pretty much the same thing, except reversed, and I don't know why I wanted to make that reference, but I did, so you're gonna have to live with that. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about this Calgary Flames Vancouver Canucks trade idea. I hope you enjoyed this video, and bye.